I've noticed that people put a lot of stock in how good of a fighter a group of people are, or classification of people, or an individual in certain martial arts arenas. This guy is undefeated. This guy has had dozens of documented fights. He's a real fighter. Hmm. What's a real fighter? It is really, really interesting to me. For several years, I've done videos about the late, great Bruce Lee and his exploits and how great he was as a martial arts pioneer, innovator. And there have been detractors. There have been those who would want to debate uh, his efficacy as a martial arts master, genius even. But why? I've heard people say he was overrated. Mm. Overrated, or he didn't finish his Wing Chun under Ip Man. He only got so far. And there's no documented real fights and or championships that he's won. Mm. What measuring stick are we using to make the declaration that a person is not a fighter? What's your measuring stick? What is your barometer? What are you using to measure that? How many people you've beaten in a sport event where there are rules? Hello? No rules in the street, right? Where there is a time frame, no necessary time frame in a street conflict, right? You have a referee or a judge. No referees and judges that can intervene in the street, right? But you base your claim on you having won some championships in a sporting event. Mm. Can we say sport? And can we say real fight? Sport fight, real fight? Are they the same? I don't think so. So, what if the person has never had a fight, but they've been studying and training in a particular martial arts style or system for 20 years? Does that mean that they are not a fighter or can't fight? If they have never had a fight, I thought, this is me, old school. I'm sorry. Pardon me for being old school. But when I was a child learning martial arts, I was first told one of the staple things that you're taught: never start trouble, be humble, be courteous, be respectful. And if you go to any martial arts school, they have guidelines and rules and regulations that encompass what I just said. You're supposed to avoid a fight as a martial arts practitioner. God forbid you're a black belt or a master. You're supposed to avoid, hello, a fight. Avoid. So if you've been avoiding fights all or most of your life, why are people walking around saying that you're not a fighter? Or you couldn't beat this person or that person because they are a fighter, because it's been proven they won championships and you're just an actor, or you're a guy who has no fighting experience. I didn't know you had to have fighting experience to be classified as a fighter. Wow. But I thought we were taught, most people were taught to not fight. The art of fighting without fighting, right? You're about to engage in an encounter and you're supposed to de-escalate, right? Hello? Don't those light bulbs go off right now? You're supposed to not fight, avoid fighting. So why is it that these trolls and some of these so-called martial arts masters walk around saying Bruce Lee was not a fighter because he didn't win a championship? What does that mean? Bruce Lee was not into sport. He studied the real thing. Like everyone should be studying the real thing. And the sport is just a byproduct of the real thing. Right? Hello? The sport is a byproduct of the real thing. It's not the real thing. So, Bruce Lee was a real fighter. He didn't want to use his skills, but he trained himself to be a perfectionist in what he did. He created a system of fighting for himself. It was designed for him, Jeet Kune Do. So why are people blasting him saying that he's never competed in a sport competition or a championship? It would be counterproductive to what he was doing. I'm not learning how to participate in sports and win a trophy or a medal. I'm learning how to take care of myself, how to protect myself. And I don't have to walk outside my house and go start fights and see how well I fare so I can consider myself a fighter on this level or that level. He did it the right way. So why are some of these so-called, and I say so-called masters, saying that he was not a fighter? But you're not supposed to be fighting, right? You're supposed to avoid fighting if you are a master and a grandmaster, a guru, or whatever you want to call yourself. You're not supposed to be fighting. So why the conversation? Why are we having this conversation that he never beat anybody? He was never a champion competitor. Wow. You know what that tells me? Guys and gals, it tells me that the people that are making those assertions about Bruce Lee, maybe they're not fighters. Maybe they are the paper tigers. Maybe they are the classical mess that he spoke of. Don't get caught up in that classical mess. Nothing wrong with tradition because we all got everything that we know from traditional martial arts, to include myself. There would be no real fighting if there was not traditional martial arts. You see, it taught us balance, how to breathe, a certain sense of agility, stance, taught us how to understand our body and mechanics and so forth, how to mix techniques, how to develop weapons that we possessed naturally and we just developed them into tools to be used to protect ourselves and our loved ones. The empty hand, karate, empty hand, right? Kicking, knees, elbows, and even a headbutt here and there. Throws, sweeps, submissions. All of that was taught to us to protect. Not to walk around saying that I can beat this person, that person, and I have this whole slew of wins, which makes me somebody now. So my question to you is this. If you want to say that someone is not a fighter, how many fights do they have to qualify in your book? I say you want to try to not have any fights. Therein lies the wisdom. And that person who can avoid fighting at all is the real master. That's enough said. I'm out.